man. You know what's weird is I can see... What the hell is going on here? I can see through this camera better than I can actually see through the windshield. That's Trey wacky. Hey, listen, I am considering doing this case. There's this really intriguing case down here. I'm working on this Charlie Square thing like I'm always yapping about, but there's a really old, interesting case in the downtown area that every local Salt Lake person knows about. This is the downtown area. Hotel Monaco. There is a hotel just down the street here. It's now the Holiday Express. And for a long time it was called the Shiloh Inn. And they've revamped it into the Holiday Express. But in the 1970s, it was known as the Sahara Dune Hotel. And it's that green building up there with the flag, if you can see that off in the distance down there. We're going to get up a little bit closer. But what's interesting about this case is all the locals understand it. But I've heard so many bizarre stories about it that it's really hard to know what the truth is. So I've done a little bit of investigating. Basically, what the deal is with this place, on the 11th floor, and I believe it's this side of the street that it's facing. On the 11th floor, back in 1978, there was a cult leader living here. The Sahara Dune Hotel, coming up a little closer here. And his name was Emmanuel David. He had a wife named Rachel David. And what the deal is, they were LDS, but they were more FLDS, so it was kind of an offshoot branch of the Mormon Church. And Emmanuel had been living high on the hog with his family. It was he and his wife and their 7 daughters, I believe, 7 girls, ranging from ages like 4 to 13, I believe. And I'm still investigating this completely. I don't have the whole story straight, but I've been doing a lot of reading up on it. And it's one of those stories that everyone's talked about for years since I've lived here. But basically, they were living on the proceeds of their parishioners, the collection plate, basically. They were making loads of money. His followers believed that he himself was actually God. And they still, to this day, believe it. He's dead now. At one point, so from roughly 1969 to 1978, Emmanuel David and his wife and their kids had been living in hotels, like 100%. They did not have a home. He was from Yonkers, New York, and they had been moving across the country to different cities like Chicago, and they ended up here. They lived in another hotel for a while, but they were basically, every single day, they lived in fancy hotels. And this place, in 1978, the rooms were going for about $90 a night. And that was a lot of money back in those days. And many of the places they stayed at were upwards of $150 a night. And they paid in cash. Emmanuel liked to lay around in these white robes and carried a 3.5-foot sword and just kind of lurched around whatever hotel room he was, spouting the gospel, just preaching from his hotel room and just talking on the phone and watching TV. He became very fat because he loved room service, and he was just taking all this money that people were giving him and just living like a big fat pig, basically. So one night in June of 78, they'd been living here from May until June of 78, a little bit over a year. I think the money was starting to dry up, and he was suffering. He was hemorrhaging cash, and the family didn't really have anywhere to go. And so he borrowed a friend's pickup truck, drove up into the Wasatch Mountain. This is 200 South and West Temple. And he decided that he was going to kill himself. So he took this pickup truck, drove up a dirt road, stuck a hose in the tailpipe, stuck it in the cab, and died. 2 days later, not 2 years. Rachel caught wind, apparently, of his suicide, and she decided that sadly, very sadly, is a very tragic case, by the way. She was going to kill herself and the children. And so they're on the 11th floor, and I believe it was this side of the building. She made the kids climb up on a chair out on the balcony on the 11th floor. And there's 12 stories. There's a 13th floor, but it's just that utility area on the very top. So one from the top. And she made them all jump, and they did. 4 of them died on impact. 2 of them, I believe it was 2 of them, died on the way to the hospital. And one of them lived, and she's currently living in Arvada, Colorado, and is in a wheelchair. And according to what I've read, his cult is alive and well, and his worshipers still believe that he is God, and now he's even more godlike because he's immortal. And she believes that her father is God as well to this day. A very bizarre, tragic case. Whoa. Captain Borax almost dies by a bus. Anyway, one of the kids apparently fell on the roof of this lower building right here, which is a diner, where it was a diner for many years. And so it is possible that it was on the other side, this side over here. I'm not sure. I'm still researching this, but I just think it's an interesting case. And I've heard so many bizarre stories and tales about this case over the years. Oh, you know, the people that jumped off the Shiloh Inn, the mother. Apparently the mother jumped as well. I forgot to mention that. But very, very interesting and very sad. But anyway, still working on a Trolley Square thing. I'm always talking about that. I've been doing a lot of work on that. Getting there. It's almost ready. But anyway, hope you all having a good day. See you, love you, bye-bye.